Hi, I'm Yasmin, and I'll be your server today. I'm a full time waitress at a casual dining restaurant. I'm on foot for 10 hours a day, and I serve hundreds of customers each week. And these are my customer service stories. Hi, guys, thank you so much for joining me today. So, today we are going to be talking about when customers ask for more. And if you've been a server, if you are a server, or if you're in the customer service industry, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It's when customers ask you for more napkins, for more refills on their bottomless drinks, for another plate, more cutlery. I mean, you name it. The list goes on and on and on sometimes. And yes, it is part of our job, but sometimes it can be a little overkill, I should say. So today's story is about these customers who were absolutely lovely, nice people. They just needed more of everything. And it all started during a very seemingly quiet day when this lovely lady walked in. She was in her 50s, and she was going to be joined by her dad and her husband. She asked for a table, and that's sort of where the chaos began. She basically led me to the table that she wanted to sit at and was waiting for the rest of her party to join her. So I grabbed her drink, I was doing my thing, and then her dad and her husband joined her. I grabbed their drink order, and everything was fine. But then, as we all know, in restaurants, quiet sometimes doesn't say quiet for long. And it just got super busy all of a sudden. Like it just went from 0 to 100. And we just got hit with this massive lunch rush. Just all these people at the door. And the problem was where these people were sitting was so far in the corner of the restaurant that I don't think they were able to see the fact that I had another like 6, 7 tables on the other side of the restaurant that I was also serving. But, just doing my thing, trying to juggle everything all at the same time, as we all do as a server. And I went up and I asked them for their order. So that's when sort of it started to go downhill for me. The order took forever to take because they just kept adding modifications to the order because, and I hate to say this, her dad had just gotten out of the hospital. He'd had surgery a few days ago. And here's the thing is I don't know about you all. I don't know if anybody's had surgery out there, but I've had surgery once and it was actually very traumatizing for me. I still think though, I honestly, I think I need to go into therapy for it because it hasn't really resolved in my brain sometimes. Like I'll think back to it and it'll actually make me cry. So when she said that, I just felt this need to just be like extra nice, extra generous to this table, which sort of backfired a little bit because every time I went back to that table, they would ask me for something else. But I really felt for the dad because he had a cast on his arm. So I don't know if he'd broken it. I don't know if that's what the surgery was for. Of course, you don't ask these things. But, the customers offered up that information to me that he'd come out of surgery and they were on their way back from the hospital. And all her dad wanted was some soup from the restaurant because he really, really liked it. So just my heart went out to him, and I'm going to call him Pop Pop because he reminded me of just like this sweet grandpa. He was just very, very, very nice, very easy to talk to. And the daughter, of course, and I would do the same thing, was, really protective and wanting to get her dad everything that he needed. But here's the thing, why go to a restaurant after you've gotten out of surgery? That's the one thing I don't understand. Because for me, after I got out of surgery, the last thing I wanted to do was be in public. So I'll tell you about my surgery story so you understand my trauma, so you understand why I was just so attentive to this table. Because I think ordinarily I would have tried to dodge them a little bit because I just kept getting sent back to the kitchen like every single time I visited them, but I felt the need to be like extra nice and extra caring. And it bit me in the butt like a little bit. So here's my surgery story. So you have some background as to why I was just, I felt this like responsibility to be just so extra nice to these people. But so a few years ago, I actually went in for surgery. I won't tell you exactly what it was for. That's a little personal, but it was on my abdomen area. It didn't require me to stay in the hospital overnight, but it was invasive surgery. It, I was on medical leave for 2 months so that I could heal. I mean, it wasn't something to be taken lightly. I was all like stitched up. I was on painkillers after the surgery. It was interesting because I generally have like low blood pressure, and I guess they didn't realize that that's sort of like how my body functions. And after I was in the recovery room, just sort of waiting for them to see if I was okay, to see if I could be processed and sent home. Because, like I said, it wasn't surgery that required me to stay overnight at the hospital. But they were just observing me just to make sure I was okay. Okay, so I could go home. And they were like, we want you to be able to, at least before you leave, we want to make sure you're able to just go to the bathroom and make sure like you can go pee so that there's like no complications when we send you all the way home. So they made me get up, and it was awful because I have low blood pressure, and it just like I was trying to get up and walk, and after surgery, I guess it was like even like lower than it usually is. And just I could feel the color just like rush from my face. Like I knew I was going to faint, and I was so weak and I couldn't say anything, and I was on this I was just like holding on to like my husband and the nurse, and somebody else, one of the other nurses she could tell I was going to just collapse and faint, and she just rushed over with a wheelchair and she basically like caught me before I was going to like fall and who knows, like open up all the stitches and injure myself. So it took me just longer than most other patients to get discharged to go home, and it was just a big disaster. And I remember finally I got to the car and my husband was like listen, and I think it scared him. He's like, listen babe, why don't I just like rent you a wheelchair or something, because we live in a condo, so not only are we going to get to the condo, but I have to walk all the way down to the hall, all the way down the hall to the condo. I'm like, no, it'll be fine. It'll be okay. I didn't want to be an inconvenience to people, but I should have been, because I just came out of surgery. Like, if you want to be an inconvenience in your lifetime, that is one time you can be an inconvenience. So you already see why my heart is going out to this gentleman that came out of surgery. Anyway, so we got to the condo. We're in the parking garage. We walk to the elevator bay. The elevator opens. We get in, and then in comes in after us this other lady. And I swear the look on her face, she was like, when she saw me, I feel like she was horrified. Like I just must have looked so messed up. I mean, I just came out of surgery, for God's sake, because the incision had been done on my abdomen. Like I couldn't like bend over, fix my hair, sort of like I was really limited with my mobility. So I looked like hell. Like I probably looked like, I don't know, a nightmare. Just I can't even imagine just how bad I looked, because her jaw like hit the floor. And we had to explain to her what was wrong because I looked so bad. She was like staring at us, and I was like, and I couldn't even couldn't even talk. Like it was just a big mess. And my husband's like, oh, she just came out of surgery, and the lady's like, okay. Like she had no words, no words. That's how terrible I looked. So we step out of this elevator, And I'm staring at the door, looking at the door to the apartment that is all the way, like we are all the way at the end of the hall. Like this isn't a short hallway. This isn't like 2 steps you're at your door. You have to go for a walk. And then as we step out of the elevator, I go to my husband. I'm like, I really have to pee. And it was just this big, I don't know, like I should have just listened to him and let him rent me the wheelchair. Like I should have, why did I say no? Like I said, I didn't want to be an inconvenience, but I think if you're ever going for surgery, just let the people around you pamper you. Just let them take care of you. Don't try to be a hero. Let them take care of you. Let them do these things for you. So we're walking all the way down the hall and like my bladder is like pressing on these stitches that they've recently done in my abdomen. I'm uncomfortable. I had almost fainted at the hospital, so I didn't want to go fast, but I really had to pee. And it was just a big mess. And then we get to the condo, we open the door, and my father-in-law was watching my son. And they're like, oh my gosh, welcome home. How are you doing? How are you feeling? My son was like 7 at the time, so he was freaked out because he wasn't at school that day. And my father-in-law is like watching him for the day. He's like, what the heck is going on? This is not a normal day. Mom, this is not a normal day. What is happening today? And I get in, and I mean, I looked like hell because obviously that stranger was just freaking out when she saw me. And we walk in and everyone sees me. They're like, and I'm like, I have to pee. And because my mobility is limited, my husband had to help me. And it was honestly it was quite a mission to get home after the hospital. So now you have that background. I'm seeing this guy. I'm transported back to when I came home from the hospital after surgery, and I'm just like, oh my God, this guy, I don't know, is he going to faint? Like, can he walk? What do you need? Do you need help? Do you need a wheelchair? Whatever you want. And so I was just being extra, extra nice because I just had the worst experience on the way back after my surgery. So I take the order. The order is like super complicated because the daughter is wanting to be like so accommodating, and I get it, and I spend extra time at this table, but then I have like 6 and 7 other tables waiting for me. I'm like, oh my God, everyone's gonna be mad at me. I have to bill people out. Other people need stuff. And I'm just like in my mind, just frantic, like panic. But I'm trying to stay calm because we always put on our customer service faces, smiling. And I take this order, I quickly punch it in, I go and I'm trying to serve my other tables that I've like basically neglected because I'm trying to be super accommodating to these people. And then I bring out the food to them, the food's up, I bring out the food, and then the lady's like, yeah, can we get more napkins? I'm like, yeah, of course, whatever you want. Oh my God, pop, like came out of surgery, he needs napkins, you need napkins, whatever you need. Go grab some napkins. She's like, oh, by the way, can I get a plate? I'm like, oh, I didn't. Why? Okay, here's the thing. Okay, if you've never worked at a restaurant, when the server is at your table, tell them everything. Like, not piecemeal, one at a time. Don't do that, people. Do not do that. It is one of the most painful things. Like, we are on our feet all day long, and we are like running back and forth and back and forth and back and forth and back, like you get the picture. So just give it to us all when we're there. And then she wanted to play, okay, cool. And then pop, he wants more coffee. And what am I going to say? No, like the guy just came out of surgery. I know how it's like to come out of surgery. So I go get him some coffee, pour him some coffee. Guy wants some coffee, hot coffee. And then, finally, the rush is starting to die down a little bit. I'm billing out some tables, so a little bit of the pressure's off. And then the husband comes to the bar and is standing and waiting for me while I'm pouring drinks for another table. And I see him from the kitchen and I'm like, what else do you need? I'm so behind. Like, what else do you want from me? And I pop out. I'm like, oh, hey, what's up? Is everything okay? Everything is tasting okay? He's like, yeah, just can I get a refill on my Diet Pepsi? I'm like, I was just there 2 minutes ago. But okay, Diet Pepsi it is. So I go back, I'm already pouring drinks. So what's one more? Drop off all the drinks, drop off the Diet Pepsi. And then Pop says to me, that looks really refreshing. Can I have a Diet Pepsi too? I'm like, what? We could have just said 2 Diet Pepsis, but I get it. He just needs to be pampered a little bit. He needs to be, just like I should have said yes to the wheelchair. He's wanting stuff after being in the hospital. Like, yes, I will get you your Diet Pepsi. And he's like, oh, by the way, can you put it in a smaller glass for me? I'm like, okay. So at the restaurant I work at, all of the drinks are one size. It's one size. Like all the pop, all the water, it's one size. It's this like huge glass. That is what you get. So now I'm having to hunt down a smaller glass, and it just like puts you, like, once your server flow is off. Like, here's the thing, people, like, my servers know this, but if you're not in the restaurant industry, once your server flow is off, it's hard to get it back because you time everything. So you do everything you need to do at the POS. Then you're pouring drinks, and everybody that gave you drink orders, you do all of it all at once. And then you're running food, and everything that comes like out of the kitchen, you're trying to like bang it off all at once. Like you try and time things so that everybody is getting an even amount of your attention. Otherwise you fall behind. And so what was happening was, because I was just doing like piecemeal, just one at a time, grab this, grab that, for this one table, I kept like catching up a little bit and then falling behind with my tables. And it was just, and we didn't have a host. That's the thing. Sometimes people think, oh, well, like there's people to help you. Well, no, sometimes there isn't. Sometimes you're just on your own. You're just a lone wolf, baby. And that's what I was that day. It was a lone wolf. There was no host. There was nobody else to help me. So grab the Diet Pepsi, and then dinner's or lunch is done with my favorite little table. So I clear the plates, and then Pop wanted dessert. And how am I going to say no? How am I going to say no? So dessert, he just wanted a little ice cream. And the lady's husband wanted a dessert as well. And I was like so behind. And finally, like, a manager became like available, and I was like, listen, like, I'm really behind. Can you just make some dessert for me? And she's like, okay. And so she put together dessert for the husband, but something like went wrong with it. It sort of just, it didn't look good. So we had to like remake this dessert, but Pop's ice cream was ready. So I'm like, I'll just take it out to him. And then why don't you drop off the other dessert when it's ready? Because I don't have time. I don't have time. I'm panicking. So I go out with this ice cream, give it to Pop. And then the husband goes to me, well, you like him more, don't you? I'm like, he just got out of surgery. And then the daughter had my back. Because that was her dad. She's like, yeah. So I won points with the daughter, who ended up paying anyway. So that sort of worked out for me. But I mean, like, dude, like, that's your father-in-law. Let the man eat his ice cream first. Maybe I do like him better because I was about to faint after my surgery. So I get where he's coming from. Anyway, so finally, these people, they're all done. They're ready to pay. And the lady was like so appreciative, just like gave me the nicest tip. It was, she was like, like, it's been really difficult. Something happened. There were some complications at the hospital with the dad and his surgery, and he had to go back in for surgery. And so I just like I said, like, there was a soft spot when, you have your own like personal trauma about something, and then somebody shows up at the restaurant and is, just in need of some like extra, TLC. So I get it and I'm there. I'm happy to be attentive. It's just really hard when you have all these other tables that need something from you. Like, guys, like, you feel okay. So if you have not worked in a restaurant before, it's like being a parent and having lots of kids and needing to spread your time amongst all these children. And I'm not calling customers children, that's not what I'm saying at all, but it's like a metaphor, just that you have to be able to divide your time evenly so that everybody feels like they've gotten what they need. They feel like they're getting a good, dining experience from their lunch. And it's just hard. It's just challenging sometimes because sometimes you don't have reinforcement. Sometimes you're just on your own. Sometimes there are people who do need more attention, and sometimes for good reason. Like if that was just for no reason at all, sending me back and forth to the kitchen 10 million times, like that would have been, I think, incredibly irritating. But like I said, I have a soft spot because I know how it is. I know how it is coming out of the hospital. You feel a little bit rough. You need to be pampered a little bit. But tell me what you guys think. Have you ever had an experience where you've been sent back and forth from the kitchen just so many times for just the littlest things, and it just threw your whole service off, and you're just about to like lose your mind? Like, people are starting to get mad at you. People are just like, where did you go? People are done eating and staring at you while you're trying to like tend to this one really, really needy table. So let me know if you've ever experienced that. I love you all. Thank you so much. This is your bitter waitress signing off.